This is the place to find yourself.
Istanbul offers great universities and the lifestyle is really amazing here.
So I live at the dorms at Maltepe University and I'm really happy with it. There's a cleaning service every few days and then there's the library nearby which is open 24/7.
My first impression when I came was like, it's huge. You have everything in one place.
When you first come to Maltepe University, you don't know where what is and you're like, oh my God, I need help. Guess what? You're not alone. There is the international office people over there. They're like family. They're very helpful and they're always there for you.
Istanbul is the perfect mixture between ancient and modern. Coming into this city helps me discover myself, learn about so many different cultures, learning about the world, which will help me in writing future books.
At Maltepe University, we have a lot of research centers. Because of that, we have the ability to participate in a lot of international projects.
Here at Maltepe University, the education consists of both practical and theoretical. We get the opportunity to practice everything we learn in class in real life. So after we graduate, we have a degree and we can work all over the world.
People come to Istanbul all the time, but what they really miss when they visit are the antique shops, which contain thousands of years of memories and also a thread of the modern future.
I like to use every minute and just get out and hop on the ferry and just go from the Asian side to the European side and just enjoy the wonderful weather with the wonderful Bosphorus behind me and just enjoying the moment of Istanbul.
Istanbul is very beautiful with great culture.
This city is the symbol of diversity. Come and study at Maltepe University.
Come here and feel like you're home.
Welcome to the second session of our Congress. I'm Zeynep Öztaraç and I will be the moderator of this session. Now I would like to invite Ms. Maria Lazar and Ms. Maria Daria Sitea from Lucian Blaga University of Sibiu to make their presentations titled Outward Mindset in Education and Soft Skills, the Key to Professional Success. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I will try to share my screen as soon as possible. Just a second. I've never used the StreamYard before. Can you see my presentation? Okay, I think it's okay. So hello, we are Daria Sitea and Maria Lazar from Lucian Blaga University of Sibiu. We are PhD students and we are so grateful to be here today to present our research paper and also to show you our passion regarding the outward mindset in education. Just a second, can you still see the presentation? Okay, the outward mindset in education and soft skills. Is it the key to professional success? The agenda, a brief agenda for today's presentation, starts with our research methodology. After that, we will present some key concepts. Then we will continue with the outward mindset in education and a brief case study regarding the banking sector in terms of digitalization. And in the end, a short comparison between hard skills and soft skills. Our research paper starts with the research question, which is how important are soft skills for the employees of the moment in the context of digital transformation. Then the objectives that we exposed here in order to answer the research question are analyzing the relation between outward mindset in education and soft skills, then examining the skills that nowadays employees may have, identifying the relation between hard skills and soft skills, and noting future perspectives for the human resource in different sectors. Also, our research methodology begins with a literature review for the key concepts and the outward mindset in education, and in the end, personal perspectives regarding the comparison between hard and soft skills. The key concepts. First of all, I will invite Maria to tell us about the outward mindset in education. Then we will continue with digitalization, digitization, and digital transformation. Maria, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Daria. So outward mindset in education is a new concept, and we can talk about stakeholders thinking outside the box. The stakeholders don't focus only on their objectives or needs, but they pay attention to the others, helping the others, the colleagues, to reach their objectives. They actually help themselves accomplishing their goals and their objectives. From the outward mindset perspectives, all the decisions are being made with consultation of all involved parties.
Thank you, Maria. We will continue with the three words that usually go one to another. First of all, digitalization, which refers to the conversion of analog information into digital information. Actually, it uses the binary system so that computers can store, process, and in the end transmit new information. It's a cyclical effect here. Then digitalization, which is the most common word that usually is wrongly used instead of digitization or digital transformation. Actually, from the product perspective, it facilitates the transition from tangible to intangible, but from the perspective of value creation, it enables the transition from centralized value creation models to a bi-directional approach. One idea that should be noted is that digitalization optimizes the workflow, transforming common processes and overcoming the geographical constraints. Then digital transformation, the third stage of the process of improving in terms of digital in a company. This digital transformation refers to the integration of technology in all areas of a company and resulting in a fundamental change in any way of the organization of the firm. The process suffers changes within each company, and this can lead to a change in the organizational culture in the end. Based on our literature review, we observed that there are 5 main components of digital transformation. The first one is human resource, because even though people are usually afraid that they will be exchanged with robots, they come up with ideas and they come up with other people. So they are a very important resource of a company. Data, and then observations and actions and the results. To conclude these 5 components, the whole process has a cyclical action. So the results do not mark a final stage, but a new beginning. Actually, the results become part of the new data and the new process of digital transformation. People are always changing. They try to adapt to the requirements of the society and aspiring for performance in any aspect of their working life. But today, performance can no longer come from just one direction. So I will let again Maria talk about the European Parliament and the Council of the European Union regarding the soft skills that are approved, and these are the main ones.
Yes, they have some recommendations, the European Parliament and the Council of the European Union. They recommend some soft skills that can be can interfere in any nation's education. We talk about communication in foreign languages, communication in own languages, mathematical skills, science and technology skills, knowledge for learning or lifelong learning, social skills, entrepreneurial skills, awareness and cultural expression. They all are considered to be important for integration in the work market. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Then we will go to credit institutions employees, because this is our case study, our practical application of our research paper. And we will analyze the European Union and mostly the Romania in terms of credit institutions employees. Here you may observe this is a graph from 2019, which was a year before the COVID-19 pandemic. And we may see here that most numerous banking institutions were in the euro area. But here you may observe a decrease, huge decrease, with 30% from 2010 to 2020 in terms of credit institutions in the European Union. But this doesn't mean that all the employees were fired. Actually, the number of the employees decreased with only 16% in the analyzed period. In Romania, it was pretty much the same, but it was a higher number of employees in credit institutions that were fired because it was decreased with 22%, even though in the European Union it was 16%. BRD, BCR, and Banca Transilvania are the three main banks in our country, and we may observe something different for the case of Banca Transilvania. Even though the trend is to decrease the number of employees, Banca Transilvania increased the number of employees during the 3 years analyzed. Then we made a comparison in terms of soft skills and hard skills regarding the jobs of the future, because all of us know that the jobs will be different in the future times. Soft skills, we may admit that cultivating soft skills can boost the competitiveness of the employees on the labor market, and all the companies may easier overcome internal and external challenges. Here we've noted few soft skills that are relevant, but the most relevant in the European Union are those that Maria presented before. Here we have to note leadership, communication, teamwork, persuasion, self-confidence, interpersonal skills, adaptability, active learning, interpersonal skills. And if you may see here, 3 of these soft skills are written with bold. These are the most relevant for the banking sector, because we talked before regarding the banking industry. conclusion and important information regarding the soft skills, these are worldwide recognized as being valuable. That means that each person that wants to be employed in a different field should possess soft skills in order to be valuable, to be competitive on the labor market. Again, talking about the banking sector, we may divide the banking sector into departments. The first one is the back office, the second one is the front office. And from the list of soft skills, we have chosen those that are specific for the back office and those that are specific for front office, and those 4 that can go one to another. In terms of back office, we may note critical thinking, problem solving, self-motivated, and detail-oriented. For the front office, we note communication, persuasion, time management, customer service, adaptability, interpersonal skills, and self-confidence. And those 4 that are written with yellow, leadership, decision-making, teamwork, and strong work ethic, are those that are most relevant for the working environment in a bank, and that people should have these skills in order to be employable in the banking sector. Hard skills are those that are acquired during the education. These may be learned from books, tutorials, professional experience maybe, and these are those that are the first to be analyzed in a potential interview. We may note here technical skills, financial literacy, text knowledge, cash management, language skills, accounting, and software development. According to Digital Economic and Society Index, last year in Romania, only 31% of the population possess basic digital skills. Also, regarding the ICT graduates, there were only 6.3%. And for ICT specialists, only 35% of employed people aged between 15 and 74 years. This means that there is a huge potential of the market, and that people must develop their digital skills in order to be competitive, employable, and to enhance their potential to be employed on the market. According to the Institute of the Future of the University of Phoenix Research Institute, we identified some skills that must be relevant for the people for the future. And these are social intelligence, sense-making, adaptive thinking, cross-cultural competency, computational thinking, new media literacy, transdisciplinarity, design mindset, cognitive load management, and virtual collaboration. But we still have a question in mind, and this may be the basis of a new research. Which of these skills will define the future of the banking system? And in the end, some conclusions and future perspectives. The innovative way of teaching through the outward mindset wants to transform the relationship with students, having a beneficial long-term impact on their motivation. Soft skills may provide a boost of confidence and competitiveness for the bank employees, and future employees must possess digital skills, but also must know how to interact with people. Thank you so much for your attention, and if there are any questions, we are here to answer. Thank you.
You can write them on the chat box. If you don't have any questions, I think we can continue. I think there are no questions. Now I want to invite Ms. Silva Bushlery and Mr. Luca Villani from Politecnico di Torino, Italy, to make their presentations called Social Media, Data Privacy, and the Youth Case Study Tirana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will start our presentation. We are going to share our screen. So let us know if you can see our screen, if everything is okay and visible. Can you see our screen? Okay, yes. So I assume everything is okay. Okay, we will proceed then. So hello everyone again. And our paper is focused on social media, data privacy, and the youth, with a particular case study in Tirana, Albania. So we are students of Politecnico di Torino, as it was mentioned previously, which is located in the very northern part of Italy. The components of our paper are the following. We will first explore a theoretical state-of-the-art books and papers on social media, ads, and privacy, enriched with international statistics, and then we'll proceed with our own case study focused on young people in Tirana, Albania. Now, regarding our case study, we collected the data in the summer of 2021. The questionnaire was spread among 1,500 young people of the ages 18 to 30. If you are young, but you're not in that age group, it's okay, but unfortunately not interesting for the purposes of our study. So, of course, young people go beyond that particular age group. And we were interested to study their interaction with social media, ads, and privacy-related matters. Now, our distribution of the data had a great gender imbalance. As you can see, it was 77% women compared to 23% men. And there are many ways to handle imbalance, but for the purposes of the study, we focused on randomized resampling. We basically kept all the men, and then we did a randomized resampling for the women to get an exact amount, because the population in Tirana is very much gender balanced, and we wanted our sample to be a representative of the true population. Furthermore, the age distribution, as you can see, is the following. There is an imbalance as people grow older, but in general, there is a tendency that after people finish their studies, whether it's first level or second level studies, they tend to travel abroad to work and so on. So that might be the reason for that imbalance, one of the possible reasons. Furthermore, this is the distribution on the working status of people, the distribution on the studying status among people, and we got interested how many people were working and studying simultaneously, and the following graph shows that almost like half of the people, so about 250 people, are working and studying simultaneously. Now, we will first see social media in terms of time relevance, as well as then personalized ads on social media. We'll proceed with privacy issues and ethics that arise, as well as alternative solutions and future prospects. My colleague Luca here will proceed with the element of time and its importance on social media.
Thank you, Silva. I would like to start this presentation with these quotes from The Hype Machine, a book that my colleague Silva will introduce later on. And basically it states, we've doused our kindling fire of human interaction with high-octane gasoline. And what we are really interested about is to understand how much time do we spend actually making this human interaction by social media. So, this is a report from Global Web Index that estimates that on average the social media users spend 2 hours and 22 minutes online each day. As you can see, this is an increasing trend from 2012 to 2018, and it increased in these 6 years of more than 50 minutes, which is a lot. And as you can see, also the youngest people are the ones that use it more. And so that's why we conducted our study in this age group. So as you can see here, our study from Tirana basically has the same statistics of the social media average spend time. And it's the main peak is about 1 to 2 hours and 3 hours. And it's congruent with the international study. Also for the gender, it's basically the same, except for the fact that for men's, the peak is from 1 to 2 hours, while for women's is 2 to 3 hours. And this is a slight difference on this. And in this graph, as you can see, there are three kind of categories, which are the worker, the students, and the students and the workers. But you don't have to make comparison between the lines, because the workers and the students also include the other two categories. And so you have to watch the peaks. So for the workers, as you can see, the peak is on 1 to 2 hours. For the students is between 3 and 4 hours, and for the worker students is on 3 hours. And we break down these statistics also for the ages, and as you can see, is mainly the same for every age group, which is 1 to 2 hours or 3 hours. And now Siva will introduce the second part of our presentation.
Okay, so in the second part, as you can see, the title is You Are the Product, because as I'm sure many of you are very well aware, personalized ads on social media are targeting you, and basically they are interested in you as much as you may be interested in products. Now, most people are aware of these things in general, and let's say you're talking with your friends, right, about taking a vacation somewhere, and all of a sudden you see ads about that place, about flights, about places to stay, and you get concerned for that particular reason. But you don't really think of every little detail of the pipeline that your data go through and all the possible macro issues that may arise from that. Well, generally people don't. And that's why Arthur Clarke says that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, or I would rather say simply indistinguishable in the sense of social media, because we don't really think of all the possible details. But lucky for us, there are researchers that do think about all these little details. We'll present a bunch of books here that we like. They may not be the books that you like. There are many, many books out there on the matter. So for our purposes, we focused on these ones. Now, Sinan Aral, in his book, The Hype Machine, analyzes how social media disrupts our elections, economy, and health, and how the adoption must be made. In the 6th chapter, Personalized Mass Persuasion, he argues, in his own words, that digital ads don't work nearly as well as they're advertised to. And he actually argues that they may be overvalued, often by a factor of 3, and sometimes by as much as a factor of 10 or more. Kate Crawford, one of the leading researchers in the impact of artificial intelligence, which I'm very well aware that, and the majority of you, I'm sure, are very well aware of the fact that artificial intelligence as well as machine learning algorithms are the ones that are used to produce this personalized ad space. A very interesting insight from her. She starts on this chapter 3, the capture of the commons, by taking a case in which Britain's Royal Free National Health Service Foundation actually made an agreement with DeepMind, which is a subsidiary of Google, to share patient data records of 1.6 million people. And then later on, when an investigation was made by the Information Commissioner, it was observed that the company was found to have violated data protection laws by not sufficiently informing patients. And the Data Commissioner argued that the price of innovation does not need to be the erosion of fundamental privacy rights. But this is not the only thing that's interesting, according to her. In her own words, yet there are other serious issues that receive less attention than privacy. The practices of data extraction and the training dataset construction are premised on a commercialized capture of what was previously part of the commons. This particular form of erosion is a privatization by stealth, an extraction of knowledge value from public goods. A dataset may still be publicly available, but the meta value of the data, the model created by it, is privately held. Certainly, many good things can be done with public data, but there has been a social and to some degree a technical expectation that the value of the data shared via public institutions and public spaces online, like your social media accounts, should come back to the public good in forms of the commons, not just these products are great for you, but other forms that can be good for us as data sharers in these great social media platforms. The security expert, Bruce Schneier, in his book Data and the Goliath, he argues that it's not that big brother that you usually think of, the all-seeing eye, but it's like hundreds of these little brothers. And the amount of data that you share on social media, if you were to, let's say, share it with the government explicitly, like you do on social media, right? You post where you go, when you go there, what do you eat when you go there, which restaurant do you go to, who you go with, when you start a job, when you leave it. You leave a lot of reviews about those job spaces, as well as your colleagues in platforms such as LinkedIn, for example. So you leave a lot of detailed record. And if you were to give this detail, if you were required to give this detailed record on a daily basis explicitly to, let's say, the government, you would feel totally not comfortable with that. But you do this en masse with companies. So there is a little bit of this ambiguity there. He also presents the concept of the third-party cookie and its history behind. And the word cookie doesn't seem as dangerous or as evasive. I mean, who doesn't like cookies? But when you use actually the technical term persistent identifier, well, that would be far more accurate, and maybe you would not be as willing to accept all cookies, let's say. So it's not just about the fact that a particular page collects cookies on you, but there are third-party cookies. So the data that you share with multiple websites and multiple companies are aggregated to get a very detailed picture of yourself. For example, he argues here that Facebook tracks on every site, you on every site with a Facebook like button, whether you're logged into Facebook or not, and Google tracks you on every site that has a Google +1 button, or that simply uses Google Analytics to monitor its own web traffic. Last but not least, the data scientist and mathematician Cathy O'Neill argues in her book that she has entitled, with a little wordplay there, Weapons of Math Destruction, playing with weapons of mass destruction. She argues that when it comes to WMDs, predatory ads practically define the genre. They zero in on the most desperate among us at enormous scale. In education, they promise what's usually a false road to prosperity, while also calculating how to maximize the dollars they draw out of each prospect. And throughout the book, it's definitely recommended, let's say, because she argues in different scenarios how we're getting specific quotas, whether you want to buy a car or whether you want to, buy a book, whatever you're purchasing online. But even on things such as education, because of this collective information from different websites, particular companies can get a very good idea of who you are and how much you can pay and give different quotas to different people. Now, in our case study, we asked people, how often do you see ads on social media? And, well, obviously, as you can see, it's always and often are the top answers. We broke this down by age, and the distribution seems to be pretty much the same. But as you can see, as people grow older, that always category seems to be getting the most of the attention, especially between ages of 22 and 24. Then there are some little shifts here and there. The distribution between men and women is pretty similar, but men seem to have ads more often showed to them, whereas women seem more to be on the always scenario. Between employed and not employed seems pretty similar, as well as between studying and not studying. Most of the companies appear to be local Albanian, because remember, our case study is being conducted in Albania, but foreign companies were not left far behind. We then ask them if the ads are annoying. And as you can see, most people do find them annoying. However, and as well as between men and women, they both seem to find them quite annoying. And as well as between different age groups, they find them annoying pretty often. But interestingly, the younger people seem to have chosen, I do not know, quite more than the older people. And then we ask them if they're informative. And the yes and the no are pretty head-on with one another. Interestingly, women found them more informative than men. Men then found them, more women tended to choose yes, whereas men tended to choose no when they were asked this particular question. In terms of age groups, it seems to be that younger people found them more informative than older people. But then again, as the ages grow older, there seems to be a variation. However, remember our distribution that on the ages 27, 28, 29, and 30, we didn't have a lot of data. So maybe that could change if the data was at a higher scale. Now, regarding matters of privacy and protection, we say it's a work in progress because it really is. All these changes are very recent, they're very new. So there is a lot of work in terms of policy. Before we go to policy, which do you think is the biggest lie on the internet? And for many people, appears to be the fact that they have read and agreed to the terms of use and the privacy policy, because most people, well, you would imagine don't. Actually, some researchers conducted a study on this, and they asked 543 participants to participate in a study about a fictitious social media platform named NameDrop. 98% ignored sensitive clauses, 74% avoided reading them at all by choosing quick join. And actually, they included some little clauses there, like the gotcha clauses were asking people to share data with NSA and employers and about providing a firstborn child as a payment for the social network service access. And people agreed to that. Now, of course, you would assume that most social media don't ask you for your firstborn child as payment, but this is just to highlight that people really don't read this thing and could agree to literally anything, which is why the policy upon which this is based, notice and consent, is actually failing. And in the words of Nuala O'Connor, notice and choice are no longer a choice. Now, in the European Union, the GDPR, General Data Protection Law, is in practice, and as well as the AI Act is now proposed to handle the regulation of artificial intelligence and to actually categorize application by risk measurements and deal with the high-risk cases. In our case study, most people do not read the terms and conditions, as you can obviously see. The same was true as by age, and the same was true for employed, not employed, studying, not studying, in different levels of studies. Most people, of course, do find the terms and conditions pretty long. My colleague will proceed with another clause, which is, okay, people don't read terms and conditions, and they are being advertised to. What is an alternative? To pay for social media accounts in order to not get advertised to. So
we use this Twingate research as a reference for our study, and as you can see, most of the people doesn't want to pay for social media and want to use the free version of it, and the majority of them that at least some are willing to pay are from the Generation X. Then the two main reasons of which people doesn't want to pay for social media is because they don't trust the sites to keep the information private, and they rather not use the sites at all. So as you can see, the average of the people that are willing to pay something like €5 for Facebook and Instagram, and about $4 for Twitter and Reddit. But this is quite interesting to know that the actual cost for user of each platform is very, very little compared to the ones that people are willing to pay.
About half.
Yeah, about half. And then we conducted the study, and the results are quite different between the international one, and the majority of them doesn't want to pay at all. And also for the gender, the distribution is pretty the same, and for the working status, for the studying status, and for also the level of studying, the data are quite the same for everybody. And we also asked how much would they be willing to pay for the social media, and the majority of them, of course, chose about $0 and $1, so very few. And also, it is also for the gender, for the age group, for the employment, for the studying status, and now Silva will give you some recommendation for our future.
Yeah, so we are keeping it brief, and we are hurrying up a little bit in the end, as you can see, because we're almost close to the time, and we do not want to take the time from the other colleagues that have their own papers to present. There are a lot of future recommendations that could be made here, but we want just basically to ask you for one. Try to read as much as you can about the topic, not because there are people like us that try to write research papers on the topic and we want you to read them, but it's also about the fact that, well, you kind of have to, because data is the new oil, let's say, of the social media, of the social media age, and it is of a necessary and imperative importance that you know at least to a very rudimentary level of what is happening with your data as an individual and as a voter for laws that regulate this sort of thing. Now, of course, we had to limit our graphs to descriptive statistics. However, we are going to put over the summer some notebooks on GitHub with the code and maybe some inferential statistics as well. And these are emails if you have any further questions on the matter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. The results of the study were quite interesting. If you have any questions, you can write them on the chat box or you can email to the addresses.
Yeah, we can share the addresses also later.
And you can write your addresses on the chat box if you like. Now we can continue with the next presentation, which belongs to Farishta Fazl from Herat University, Sharia faculty, titled Right to Education in Afghanistan. The floor is yours.
This is the place to find yourself.
Istanbul offers great universities and the lifestyle is really amazing here.
So I live at the dorms at Maltepe University and I'm really happy with it. There's a cleaning service every few days and then there's the library nearby which is open 24/7.
My first impression when I came was like, it's huge. You have everything in one place.
When you first come to Maltepe University, you don't know where what is and you're like, oh my God, I need help. Guess what? You're not alone. There is the international office people over there. They're like family. They're very helpful and they're always there for you.
Istanbul is the perfect mixture between ancient and modern. Coming into this city helps me discover myself, learn about so many different cultures, learning about the world, which will help me in writing future books.
At Maltepe University, we have a lot of research centers. Because of that, we have the ability to participate in a lot of international projects.
Here at Maltepe University, the education consists of both practical and theoretical. We get the opportunity to practice everything we learn in class in real life. So after we graduate, we have a degree and we can work all over the world.
People come to Istanbul all the time, but what they really miss when they visit are the antique shops, which contain thousands of years of memories and also a thread of the modern future.
I like to use every minute and just get out and hop on the ferry and just go from the Asian side to the European side and just enjoy the wonderful weather with the wonderful Bosphorus behind me and just enjoying the moment of Istanbul.
Istanbul is very beautiful with great culture.
This city is the symbol of diversity. Come and study at Maltepe University.
Come here and feel like you're home.
I think there was a connection problem. Miss Maria, if you're ready, I think we can have you for the next presentation now.
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay. The title of this presentation is The Outward Mindset, Participatory Management, Innovative Approach in Increasing the Quality of Education. We are listening to you.
Thank you. Just a second, I want to share my screen. Just a second, I have some problem with sharing the screen. Okay. Is it okay? Can you see my screen? Okay, I'm going to talk about the outward mindset, participatory management, innovative approach, increasing the quality of education. Education has been playing a more and more important role in today's society, and high standard education requires good managers. But modern society has driven educational management to a higher level where classical management models cannot cover all the changing educational needs. Our research methodology is based on explaining the key concepts, management models, explaining the the traditional management models, and the proposal of a hybrid management model. And our research question is how could educational management system adapt to present needs and challenges? And obviously, by mixing some classical patterns, features, and adding the outward mindset perspective. This is how we get to the outward mindset participatory management model. And creating a brand new hybrid management model could enhance the quality of education. But first of all, let's talk about classical management patterns that were studied along the time. We can talk about formal models, formal management models, and managerial leadership patterns. They were appreciated at the beginning of management educational management a research domain, colleague model, and we can talk about participatory or transformative or distributed leadership models. Then the domain met political models and transactional leadership models. We can talk about subjective management models, postmodern and emotional leadership models, ambiguous and circumstance patterns, then cultural management model and the moral leadership model were in trend, and I want to propose a hybrid model, the outward mindset participatory management model, which consists of the mixing of 4 different management models. The system model. The system model gives coherence inside the organization, and the open system model theory and stakeholder theory are very important in this management model. The participatory management, the outward mindset participatory management model includes influences from the cultural model. They also include values, symbols, and beliefs shared by all the members from an educational organization. Inside the cultural model, some norms based on the outward mindset principles can be developed. Also, the rituals are specific to this management model. We can also talk about the subjective model and the participatory and a leadership model and emotional model. Based on this model, we can talk about individual perception. Every member of the educational organization is important, and their individual perception is important, because everyone builds the organization image, and a good image will bring good and efficient educational organization image. In this context is very important the concept of outward mindset in education, a new concept that means that every stakeholder thinks outside the box. The stakeholders don't focus on their own needs and objectives, but they pay attention to the other's needs, to the other's objectives, and trying to help the others achieving their objectives. He helps they help themselves achieving their common goal, their common objectives. So, from the outward mindset perspective, all the decisions are made after consultation, all the involved parties. In the outward mindset, there is a real communication. We sincerely communicate the negative aspects in order to be corrected. But we also make proposal to improve the personal activity or the group's activity or the all organization's activity. All the persons are involved in finding solutions and taking decisions. As I said, we are talking about a brand new management model. We talk about new types of managers, wondering if they could face today's educational challenges using the outward mindset tools. New management activities designed for all the organizational levels and creative correlations can reveal effective guidelines for our current educational system. While the outward mindset offers a new outlook to education and to educational management, we are trying to bring innovation, and we are trying to bring forward the opportunity for further study within the analyzed field. We are also trying to see to the extent to which a new outward mindset participatory management model could bring innovative approach to the modern educational management. Changing times require changing patterns. Traditional educational management models may appear as outdated, while the hybrid ones may seem to fit the nowadays changing situations and the more demanding educational standards. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions.
I think there are no questions. Thank you, Ms. Maria.
Thank you.
This is the end of our session. I would like to thank all our participants for their presentations. Now we will continue with the third session of the Congress, which will start at 3 o'clock. See you.